All right, let's go to the running back position. This is an ugly one. I wanted to punch you in the face whenever you gave me this matchup. Like, I really wanted to punch you in the face. Austin Eckler or Tank Bigsby. Austin Eckler is going against, of course, Pittsburgh Steelers. Tank Bigsby against the Minnesota Vikings. This one is so hard because I don't roster legit any of these players. So, and I'm in like 30 leagues. So I roster I make the joke when someone scores, I just cheer because I most likely have that player somewhere. I don't have these players anywhere. Not 1 second. Not one team. Not one hope. I don't know, Justin. I don't know. They're both bad. They're both like I don't want either on my team. I don't want to start. And this is a possibility. This is like your reality right now. You're like, oh man, I have these two shitty players. What do I do with these two shitty players?
We're talking about RB32 and RB35 on the season. Can you
What are we
guess which one's
doing?
which? Can you guess which one's RB32?
Bigsby's probably higher because he had a better week. 1 week.
No, Eckler's better. 32.
Okay. I
Bigsby
yeah.
is RB35. So, yeah, no, this is a reality. I do roster these two players on different teams. And that's because of the zero running back approach that I always seem to take. Austin Eckler is the top pass catching back in Washington. If Brian Robinson misses any of the time, he's likely going to be on a snap count if he does play from his injury. And Pittsburgh does allow the sixth most reception yards to running backs. So that's very favorable for Austin Eckler. Whether Robinson is in there or not, he is involved in that pass catching game. So that is something that you have to consider. Last week with Robinson out, he took 47% of the snaps, only 11 rushes, but he did get a touchdown. He got 4 targets for 41 yards. That's pretty big for a low end RB3. So I do like that. Tank Bigsby, on the other hand, will see his workload decrease as ETN ramps back up to full health, hopefully. We did see Tank Bigsby get more and more of the workload slowly, even before ETN came out of the game. But now that ETN is back, Bigsby's not getting 100% anymore. And Minnesota has the 6th lowest points allowed to opposing running backs. And last week, the Jags completely abandoned the running game, giving Bigsby only 8 carries. To me, this one's an obvious one. To me, this is Austin Eckler all day.
Yeah, it's
And
Austin
I don't
Eckler.
even think it's close.
Yeah, it's Austin Eckler. It's Austin Eckler for me. 49, almost close to 50% of snap share throughout the season. Tank Dell. Jeez, that's on my mind because that last question. Tank Bigsby is only averaging 32% snap share. And when he did play, he looked great. But last week, again, you said 8 snaps or 8 carries. But he was also dealing with an injury as well. He was questionable going into that game. ETN has been questionable with that hamstring for a while. I hope he comes back soon because he is the guy there. Although he's having a very, very bad down season, he really has. He hasn't finished a top 24 finish all season long, even when he was healthy. That whole Jaguars team's a mess, but he is getting the majority of the carries when he is there, of course, because it's Travis Etienne. He was a first round pick. He deserves to be there. But Austin Eckler, again, he's the like you can't with these guys, you can't bench him over Bigsby, but I would bench both of them. Like I just bench both of them, but I can't say that. I literally I have to pick one. It's like Predator versus Alien. We'll both lose if one of these guys.
I'm in a league this week where I have literally 0 running back on. Like, I have no running back to
You
start
just
this
look
week.
so
I
okay. All
had to
right.
go out and make a trade to get a
Here's
running back.
I'm getting into your mind, right? So this is what Justin does now. I figured it out. You look at your fantasy matchups. You're like, all right, who's on my team? Damn, I have Eckler and Bigsby. I'm gonna let Josh help me out, but I'm not gonna tell him. We're just gonna put it on the show so Josh
I
can
have
talk
done
me
that
into a
once. I
player.
have done that once. I'm not gonna lie. It was the very beginning of the season. I have done that once, but no,
That's
I
what you're
do roster
doing.
these guys, but they're not on the same team.
The problem is Brian Robinson Jr. is also injured. That's a big problem, obviously, right? He's the best running back there. He's getting the majority of the carries. He's, by the way, has the most red zone carries on that team easily. Eckler's only has 25 targets on the season, which Eckler's biggest claim to fame is pass catching, which he's not doing. So if he's not catching balls, what is he really doing? At the end of the day, here's how I took this one. Who's going to score more points? The same thing I did with Baker. And the same thing you should be doing. Look at the over under that Vegas puts out. Who's going to score the most points? Who's going to have the highest scoring games? If you're thinking about something and you can't figure it out, who do you think Vegas? Because Vegas never loses. They're not wrong. Vegas over under. Okay, cool. I'm assuming it's probably Washington's going to outscore Jacksonville. We can probably agree on that, right? I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think so. And if they're on the field more and they're scoring more touchdowns and they're in the red zone more, Austin Eckler is going to have more opportunities to score touchdowns than Tank Bigsby. That's just how my brain thinks on these things, especially when they're so close and especially when there's two players that are just totally kind of irrelevant for your fantasy football team. But if you're in a pinch and you need help, I would start Austin Eckler versus Tank Bigsby.